Have you ever had a podcast guest who used AirPods and you were wondering how you could clean up that audio to make it sound a little bit better, a little more professional? Well, that's what we're going through in this video. I'll be walking you through my process for cleaning up AirPod audio. So let's get started. The first thing is let's look at the audio from the AirPods versus the audio from a regular mic. These are both from the same recording, the same piece of audio. The one on the left is the AirPod Pro. On the right is the audio from my Earthworks Ethos. The first thing you notice is we've got a lot of frequencies that are cut off. This is 11K, so everything from 11K up is just completely cut off. Then if we scroll over, we can see that we've got a little bit of gating going on here, which is not there in the ethos. So we've got some gating going on. We've got a really sharp low pass filter. And then over here, all of these holes, that's stuff where we are losing audio. All of this stuff, all of those little holes, that's where the data compression is just compressing all of the data. The last thing that I see is, let's go up to this image. We can see that the audio is being compressed, similar to a compressor, because we've got these areas here, which really show you how much it's being compressed compared to down here. The brighter the orange, the louder it is, and you can see the one on the top is the AirPods. And this is the ethos down at the bottom. But you can see how much brighter the audio is compared to the ethos, especially in the top end. All of the stuff above here, you can see it's considerably brighter. The stuff on the bottom looks about the same. So it's compressing the high end, well, what's left of the high end. So that's some of the reason why the audio from the AirPods sounds bad as it is. Okay, so here we are in Hindenburg. For anybody who might not have watched my earlier video, let's play the audio from the Earthworks, or the Ethos. There are very few things that get me to really dread an editing session right away. Now let's listen to the AirPods. There are very few things that get me to really dread an editing session right away. That is not good. So the first thing I do with any kind of audio, any kind of dialogue, is we're going to put mouth declick on, especially if it's me, because I have terrible mouth noise. Next thing we'll do is we'll bring up the Sentize DX Revive Pro. Okay, so it defaults to the natural 2 algorithm. There are very few things that get me to really dread an editing session. That's a little bit better, but it's not great. If Natural 2 isn't working, I just start with Studio 3 because that's their newest version. And it's usually what's going to work in most cases when we're dealing with pretty rough audio. There are very few things that get me to really dread an editing session right away. The 3 main things are Zoom recordings, condenser mics, and so to me, that's quite a bit better than what we started with, and we're probably not going to get much better We could probably EQ it a little bit, but I don't think we're going to see much of an improvement by doing some EQ. But let's just throw some smart EQ on this and let's see what we can do. There are very few things that get me to really dread an editing session right away. The three main things are Zoom recordings, condenser mics in untreated spaces, and AirPods. Today we're talking about AirPods and why I cringe when I see them being used. So the EQ does help a little bit. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference to the listener. It's still the high end that sounds really tinny, and there's really not a whole lot we can do because we're missing so much of that audio. So that's how I would go about trying to clean up AirPod audio. And the main thing to remember is we'll never get perfect audio from them. It's never going to sound like a high quality microphone because it's not. The audio is too compromised. Our goal is to just make it sound better so it's easier to listen to. So if we go back and listen to what we have in Hindenburg, we'll start with all of the processing on and then we'll take it all off. There are very few things that get me to really dread an editing session right away. So we can hear that we've made a pretty significant improvement to that audio. It's going to be easier for the listener, and that's what we're going for. There's not any benefit to spending more time in trying to make this sound better because anything we do beyond this, we might get a 1 or 2% improvement, and no one is really going to notice that. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a like and a subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of my content. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.